Alright, so today I'm going to be making a Scratch tutorial on how to make a background scroll. And as you can see, I'm using Scratch. This is Scratch. I'm not sure which version it is. But alright, let's get started. That's my dog. So first of all, we're going to paint a new sprite, which can be the ground. So the ground is the terrain, and so what you're going to do is color it whatever you want to. Make sure you're zoomed out, and so then you're just going to put it along the bottom of the screen. And then if you just want to make sure that it's actually working, then you can just make it so make like another box, and then just click OK. So what you're going to want to do is then move that all the way to the bottom, and then you can place the cat on it if you want. This is just teaching you how to scroll. It's basically a programming thing. So what you want to do with the cat is open up this thing. You can just call it cat, and then you should probably also open up this the terrain sprite, and you're going to want to name it, since it's the first one, you're going to want to name it terrain 0, and then that's going to be the name. So what you're going to want to do is go into the cat, and you're going to want to add control when clicked, and then you're going to want to make a variable. The variable, I'm sure if you've been looking around you've heard this before, it's called scrollX. scrollX, what it lets you do is move the background, but not really the background. It lets you move the terrain sprites, and which is this, which makes it so it moves the opposite direction, which makes it move like makes it seem like the cat is actually moving. So you're going to want to put when clicked, set scrollX to 0, and so that's going to make it so it stays in the middle of the screen, or so that this stays in the middle compared to this. And so then you're going to want to put when space, 2 of them, and you're going to change it to left arrow and right arrow. And so what you're going to do is you're going to make it the opposite of what you would think it was. So what I mean by that is you put in change scrollX, you would think right would make it positive, would be positive numbers, but really it's negative, and that's because you're moving the terrain the opposite way of the cat. So that's all you need to do for the cat. However, if you want to make it a little bit better, then you can, here, how about we delete this, copy this, edit that, and flip it around. So if I flip it like this, then that can be costume 2. So now if I go into the cat's scripts, I can put when the right arrow key is pressed, it's going to change to switch to costume 1, and when the left arrow key is pressed, it's going to switch to costume 2, and I'm pretty sure that's the right way to do it. And I'll switch it around if it's not. So the terrain, what you want to do for the terrain is one simple script. You're going to put when clicked, then you're going to want to do motion, or you're going to want a forever block, and you're going to say motion, and you're going to go set X to, you're going to want 2 operators here, an addition and a multiplication. The addition goes on bottom, and then the multiplication goes on the side. So what you're going to want to do then is put scrollX on one side of the addition, and then 480 and 0. So what that does is it makes it so that whenever you are moving the weight, like the scrollX of the cat, it's going to make the terrain scroll according to that, because the cat isn't actually going to move, the terrain is. And so as you can see, it's put as 480 times 0, and that's because it's the first screen, the first like level or screen, basically. Yeah, screen. And if you're making like a second one so that the cat keeps moving on to the right, then you're going to put 480 times 1. And the reason is because scrollX is already representing the entire screen, and then 480 is the actual like width of the screen, so it adds on to that. So now what I've done is made it so that when it goes right, when the cat goes right, it's going to be facing right, and then when it goes left, it's going to be facing left. So hopefully this will work. And as you can see, the scrollX is up there. So if I click this and I go right, it's going to scroll to the right. If I go left, it's going to scroll to the left. And if you go off the bottom, nothing's going to happen. And that's because I didn't change the Y to make it so that it would actually fall off if it's not touching the green. But that's more complicated, only slightly though. So that is pretty much all for this tutorial. I hope you've liked it, and I will just go through the scripts again, just in case you want to take pictures of them. So for the cat, this is the script that you'll have for the cat. So this makes it so that it starts in the middle every time. This makes it so that when you press the right arrow, the terrain moves to the left, and the opposite for this. And then the terrain, it's just one little script. It's this. When clicked, forever set X to scrollX plus 480 times 0. And I told you before, if you want to make a second one, like say, if you want to make it so that it keeps going, how about we do that just to see. So if we want to do that, let's just make a copy, basically an exact copy of this terrain, and move it over. So what you're just going to do is put it right on top of the first one, and then just name it terrain 1, because you named the first one terrain 0, remember? Terrain 1. And so what you're going to do is just make, I think it actually already has, yeah, it already has this. So you're going to make it 480 times 1. So now if you click this, you should be able, see it connects right there, and it'll just continue, and the cat will just continue going that way. And then you can go back and it'll still work. The key is you want to make it so that the Y of them is completely together. That way it will, it won't like go on top of each other, because what tends to happen is that actually this ending part, when you get to the very edge, it actually stays, and see the crease goes away, and then it comes back there, and that's because it's just something that happens when you end up scrolling. But so this has been the scrolling tutorial, and thank you for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe.